Hey everyone, Charting Man Dan from ChartGuys.com. You know, behind every single video that we put out every single day, there's a wonderful community of traders that we want to invite you to be a part of. Try the free 7-day trial and gain access to our live market broadcasts every morning and afternoon, interact with hundreds of like-minded traders, or take part in one of our dedicated chat rooms, each led by an analyst that's there to answer your questions in real time. Our trial is risk-free with absolutely no commitment or credit card required to experience the TCG community. For those looking for a head start in technical analysis, check out our entries and exits course in the link below in the description. Get up to speed with the fundamentals of TCG technical analysis and experience over 5 hours of great community-driven trading education. Hey everyone, checking in on the semiconductor sector, NVDA, MU, and AMD on the daily and the weekly. So NVDA was hit by the bears on Friday, a pretty significant down day with the volume behind it, so there were a lot of bearish plays intraday to be made. But overall, on the daily chart, it's not a red flag yet at this point, as we still have this middle Bollinger Band support. We initially consolidated from the all-time high and hit that level and held it, and so we are going to be looking at that level going forward this next week. It's currently at 150.81, and it will be continuing to ascend to the upside, so we'll be looking at it in the low 151s as we start next week. So the bears have momentum. We did close at the low of the day, and that does indicate that we are likely to test this support early next week. If we lose it, I'm looking at 146.50 and 142.11 to maintain these higher lows. On the weekly time frame for NVDA, we see the upper wick of profit taking from 2 weeks ago. We have an upper wick of profit taking again this week. It is a bearish reversal gravestone doji, and if we see a red week this coming week, which would not surprise me considering we have seen 7 green weeks in a row, but if we do see that red week, it will confirm the bearish reversal candlestick. And just the key level here on the weekly that stands out to me is that one from the daily time frame, 142.11, because that is the lowest point of consolidation that we have seen in the past few weeks. So the bears have short-term momentum, the bulls are in control overall, and we're watching really the little equilibrium pattern where we have our high, low of consolidation, lower high, and we'll see if the bulls form now a higher low. Checking in on MU, it is seeing a fairly similar pattern. It just got a bull break, not convincingly, but it was a bull break at the end of the week where we have our high, low, lower high, higher low, and we did just barely get a higher high here. The level was 32.24 and 32.40, so not entirely convincing. We are consolidating. You can see the big red volume there on Friday as well, seen across the sector, and the bulls are just looking to establish a higher low. Same thing, we're watching the middle Bollinger Band support, and as long as we form a higher low compared to 29.82, we will look for the bulls to continue to stay strong on this daily chart. On the weekly time frame for MU, we have upper wicks of profit taking the past 2 weeks. This past week, bulls recovered and kept those exponential supports, so bulls are absolutely in full control. We've been holding exponential supports here on MU weekly time frame for about 7 months at this point, and it's just a very strong chart riding that channel. We haven't even touched the weekly middle Bollinger Band support for almost a year at this point, so we're still absolutely in a very strong uptrend on MU. And checking in on AMD, getting a lot more attention. It was the weakest out of the three, and now that we do have this attention of the news and potential, market share taking, we have the bulls showing up. So it's definitely worth keeping an eye on AMD because we are fairly close to the all-time high, and as we know, when we hit all-time highs, the bulls can really see nice moves to the upside. Just in the short term, though, we are overbought. We have the RSI coming off of the 70 level, a bearish reversal doji after 4 big bull days in a row, and I'm watching to see if we break the low of Friday on Monday, 1390, and see a red day. We will confirm the bearish reversal doji, and maybe our target will be this gap fill at 1293, as the 100-day moving average support will be right around that level as well. So you can see the higher low and higher high pattern kicked it into high gear this past week with that news, filled the gap back to the upside, and broke a couple resistance levels. So the weekly time frame after the middle Bollinger Band rejected the bulls' attempts to get over it 3 weeks out of the last 5, getting over it successfully this week on really high bull volume. So where we currently stand, we're on the verge of a bullish MACD cross if this momentum keeps up, and the all-time high is 1555. So we're not too far off from that level. We came $1 shy this past week, and the upper Bollinger Band is going to begin ascending to create that room to the upside, and that will allow the bulls to head back towards that all-time high. So AMD does have the spotlight and the momentum right now in the sector, and if we get that new all-time high, it will be a very good thing for those bulls. So that's what we're watching. You can see, didn't really see the AMD bearish action that we saw on MU and NVDA. The volume was there, and there was definitely some profit taking, but in terms of weakness, MU and NVDA definitely saw that more significantly. So watching the shifting of these three names comparative to each other, and AMD, again, starting to take a little bit more of the center of attention, at least in the short term, and we'll see if that keeps up into this next week. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your weekend.